அருட்பெரும் ஜோதி அருட்பெரும் ஜோதி தனிப்பெரும் கருணை அருட்பெரும் ஜோதி திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். Dear sisters and brothers, friends and families, and the lovely children of அருட்பெரும் ஜோதி ஆண்டவர், may my best prayers and greetings be with you all. At this gracious divine connection, by His blessings, I earnestly pray our அருட்பெரும் ஜோதி ஆண்டவர், the Lord of all powerful, limitless grace light, the Lord of all powerful, limitless grace energy field, the Holy of the Holy, the only one supreme Almighty God, to bless, broadcast my today's glad tidings from Beaumont, Texas, USA, unto all of us, our families and friends, everywhere across this lovely globe, and unto other worlds and universes, known and unknown to us. அருட்பெரும் ஜோதி அருட்பெரும் ஜோதி தனிப்பெரும் கருணை அருட்பெரும் ஜோதி எல்லாம் செயல்கூடும் என் ஆணை அம்பலத்தை எல்லாம் வல்லான் தனையை ஏத்து. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். This அருட்பெரும் ஜோதி supreme Mahamantram in English can be chanted as limitless grace energy, limitless grace energy, limitless unique grace, limitless grace energy, all possible, exalt Him only, sanctum sanctorum. It's today. We are all around the world celebrating the 194th years of Vallalar's arrival day to our mother planet, which was on October 5th in 1823, with huge love and pride and with overwhelming gratitude and joy, by offering our sincere prayers and billions and more big thanks to the most graceful Almighty God for giving us His divine Son, our Vallarperaman, the greatest grace gift ever for us. Yes, Arulperum Jodi. First of all, I would like to pay my heartfelt big thanks to the noble grace team of Vallalar Mission and the supporting organization called Veda, the Center for Transdisciplinary Studies, for organizing and broadcasting this international symposium on the science of compassion from the USA via worldwide webinar, by celebrating the immortal sage and scientist Arulprahasa Ramalinga Adigalar's 194th years of arrival day, and who he is, popularly known as Vallalar, in the state of Tamil Nadu in India, and in Malaysia, Singapore, Sri Lanka, and in many regions and nations across this globe. My dearmost sisters and brothers, friends and families, highly knowledgeable presenters and participants, including the lovely online audience all over the world, it's today, at this gracious moment, I truly feel that this international symposium on the science of compassion is nothing but the crystal clear life sign of His grace blessings for His grace mission only. Yes, no doubt. Let's praise the most graceful Almighty, the Lord of omnipotent, limitless grace field, and be thankful to Him for choosing us and blessing this divine event to take place around the globe today. Arulperum Jodi. And my dear friends and families of this whole world, may the Almighty, the Lord of limitless grace and energy field, bless you all with abundant wealth, sound health, and the eternal, blissful, Anaga divine life. Arparam Jyoti. My dears, in every PowerPoint prepared here for my online presentation, and of course, which is being broadcasted now by His limitless grace, I have typed each and every word that I would like to pronounce with photos and video for the following prime reasons. Yes. Why? Because English accent varies from place to place and in fact from person to person as well. And I could also upload my presentation onto several media right away just by means of a simple click in case of any kind of interruption that may incur due to internet or any other problems. And hearing impaired audience could also get my today's good news directly. And my today's revelations may also be fruitful for tomorrow's research by many of us, since we know a written deed is more dependable. And as we know, we are all time bound. I could also manage the short duration given for my today's presentation more thoroughly and meaningfully. Now let's recall what our Vallar Peruman said on 30th January in 1874, just before he began to transfigure into his timeless divine Jnanadeham. That is what the immortal body of invisible grace light. And in English, this eternal divine Jnanadeham can also be termed as the all-knowing, deathless, pure grace body. And this is the one we all adore as Arulparam Jyoti. Yes. And now here, let's listen to our Peruman's speech on 30th January in 1874. Arulparam Jyoti.
அகில சகோதர ஒற்றுமையை பாராட்டுவி சங்கத்தில் அங்கத்தினராக வர நீங்கள் அறிகிறீர்கள். நான் சொல்வதை கேட்பதில்லை, என் கருத்தின்படி நடக்கவும் இல்லை. நான் சொல்வதை கவனிக்க மாட்டோம் என்று திடப்படுத்திக் கொண்டீர்கள் போல். என்றால் காலம் நெருங்கிக் கொண்டிருக்கிறது. ருஷ்யாவிலிருந்தும் அமெரிக்காவிலிருந்தும் இன்னும் இதர நாடுகள் அறிவாளி இந்தியாவிற்கு வந்து இதே அகில சகோதர ஒற்றுமை கொள்கைகளை பாராட்டி பிரசங்கிப்பார். இப்போது உங்களுக்கு வீடில் சொல்லும் சிறந்த உண்மைகளை அப்போது நீங்கள் தெரிந்து கொண்டுதான் நடப்பீர்கள். சீக்கிரம் காண்பீர்கள்.
Yes, friends, what was prophesied by Vallalar in 1874 is being now very well witnessed as this online live all over the world by all of us at this very divine moment. Isn't it? Yes. If truth be told, we are the fortunate eyewitness for all of His divine revelations proclaimed 142 years ago. And also, the good news to know here for sure is that we are all going to witness all of His divine wonders by eventually attaining our own ultimate, deathless, blissful, another divine life, as promised by Vallalar for all of us. And in fact, that divine promise only has brought us here today together to get unified with nature, truth, pure love, and unselfishness forever for His divine mission only. That divine promise only has brought all of us here to this land of opportunities and angels gracefully, and no doubt That divine promise only is now making me spotlight here on this very core topic, spirituality and longevity through lens of physics, from this great land that trusts in God. Beloved truth seekers of this whole world, considering the constraint of time, by His vast grace, I try to exhibit a clear spectrum of my topic so that every one of us can gain a deeper insight as expected about spirituality and longevity today. And no doubt that steeper understanding will certainly help us stay focused on our own self-inquiry in search of the right path for liberation and discovering the ultimate nature truth that governs our spirit, mind, physical body, and the universe in and around us. Almighty grace field. Well, now I do feel here that a greater time has come for us to make us understand that our deeper insight about nature truth is nothing but our inner light. Yes, and that inner light can also be called as our inward light or the so-called spiritual light. In Tamil, this spiritual light, is known as Jiva Oli or Ulloli or Therul. Yes. This Therul or the light of our spirit can be compared to sunlight. We know we can clearly see an object with the help of sunlight, isn't it? Yes, that's what the Therul are like. And it's today, right now, we have also come to know that the lake of Therul in us is nothing but our Marul. Our marul can be compared to moonlight. Here, now, I'm gonna ask you all a very simple question. Yes, that is, can we see an object clearly with the help of moonlight? Well, in fact, this is not a very big rocket question. Why? Because we all know the right answer. Yes. We cannot see an object clearly in moonlight. We all know this nature truth, since we all experience this truth by ourselves in our daily life. Similarly, folks who lack their own inward spiritual light cannot realize their own real nature truth in and around them. Such folks live in the world of Marul only, and those folks usually speak that science is wrong because they know no concept of science, and they could also speak that their religion only is true and all others are false, since they are unable to come out of their mental clutches, which means they are unable to escape the charming gravity of their own psychospace, which means they are psychologically so weak, and yet somehow, in one way or the other way, they are all compromised by themselves to live in a fake mind zone. Yes, unfortunately, they are the helpless victims due to their own illusionary, charming mind. And therefore, now we also know that we are all here in our human form by His limitless grace, not only for our own liberation and immortality, but also for all those souls too. And hence, let's enlighten them as much as possible, or at least pray for them sincerely. And no doubt I'm sure God has no better prize than what we do, all good deeds for all souls around us here in this world. And in English, this term, marul, or the lake of spiritual light, can be termed as mental delusion. And now, we, the truth seekers, could clearly understand that our utter ignorance is like complete darkness, known as irul in Tamil. The word irul in the Tamil language can be translated as darkness in English. Darkness denotes our complete unawareness or the absolute absence of spiritual light in an individual. The irul can be compared to the utter darkness of a new moon night, which means the utter dark night that has no moon at all. In Tamil, this is called as the Amavasai Irul. Honestly speaking, we, the compassionate truth seekers, don't belong to these worlds, namely the Irul world, which is the world of utter ignorance, and the Marul world, that is the world of mental delusion. Yes, we, the compassionate truth seekers, truly belong to the world of Terul, the spiritual world, and also to that of Arul, the Suddha Sanmarga world, or the world of pure Anmiham, which means the divine world of pure soul by His limitless grace blessings for all of us. Arul Perum Jodi. And now let's see what actually the Arul is, so that we all can blissfully live in it forever and ever. Vallalar clearly says that Arul is the Iyarkai Vilakam. And thus, in English, Arul can be defined as the nature manifestation or the divine manifestation in us. So, Arul is the Siddhu or the Siddh of the Sattu, since Siddh is the divine or the nature manifestation of the nature truth or the absolute truth or the Sattu. In Suddha Sanmargam, the Sadhu or the Sad is adored as the Iyarkai Unmai. In English, this Iyarkai Unmai can be termed as nature, truth, or the absolute eternal truth. Yes, and by now, I'm sure we all could clearly understand that the Arul is purely divine or the nature manifestation of the nature truth. This nature manifestation only is adored as Arul Perum Jodi in the Thiruvarutpa, the sacred songs written by our Vallar Peraman. In English, the Arul Perum Jodi can be exalted as vast grace energy. And here today, we the truth seekers need to know that the Tamil word Oli, which mainly stands for the visible light only. But Jyoti refers to the actual nature energy that causes light spherically spread out both visibly and invisibly. And now only the modern science knows that energy is eternal, which means deathless. Yes, today's science has found that energy can neither be created nor be destroyed, but can only be transformed. Yes, in science this is known as the nature law of conservation of energy. So now it's very clear that the Arul is nothing but the divine self-transformation, which means that of the Arulparam Jyoti, the limitless divine grace energy only, and therefore by the virtue of its own true nature, the Arul itself is eternal, all-pervading, all-knowing, omnipotent, limitless grace energy, and Arulparam Jyoti, and yet more infinite unknown traits to be unraveled. Yes. Well, now let's come to know the right term for Arul in English. Dear truth seekers, here we need to know that compassion is not the right word for Arul. Yes. Then what could be the correct word for it? Well, we need to use word pairs or phrases to draw the right picture of Arul, such as limitless mercy, or boundless grace, or the ultimate wisdom, or the supreme awareness, or the selfless pure love for the divine term Arul. Yes, dears, we all need to know this truth here today. Well, and now let us compare Arul and Therul to gain a deeper insight about them. If Therul is analogous to sunlight, then Arul is similar to sun's energy, or the Agni as in Tamil. And that only causes the sunlight spread out everywhere spherically as an electromagnetic wave or as an electromagnetic radiation. Yes, we know that visible light is nothing but the clear light shining only. But energy is the prime cause for both visible and invisible light. For common folks, light means the visible shining or the visible glow only. But the real nature truth about light is that the visible light is the visible part only, not the totality of light. That means light itself is both the visible and invisible light energy. So, the Therul is our spiritual light, or our Jiva Odi, which is like the visible part of light, whereas Arul is our soul energy, which is called as the Anma Jyoti in Tamil. And that Anma Jyoti is the vital, invisible divine cause, or the Mahakaranam, or the ultimate Swarupam, and that only makes our spirit, the inner body, shine well as a living spirit, which is known as Jiva Odi, as long as we are all in our own physical body. And that's why an immortal physical body is very important for all of us to rejoice in the eternal divine bliss, which is limitlessly, timelessly, naturally, and in fact, on free of cost, available for all of us. And now, please know that our deathless soul energy in Tamil, the immortal Anma Jyoti, and that only is adored as Arulparam Jyoti, the limitless or the vast grace energy. Well, now let me try to make you feel both Therul and Arul very clearly here. Human manifestation is Therul, which is our spiritual light only, and that is experienced and expressed by a human being as compassion, and this is known as Neyam in the Tamil language. Yes, and that's why all of our compassionate activities make us become spiritual, and therefore a pure spiritual person knows no difference among human beings. Yes, but among human beings only. On the other hand, divine manifestation is Arul, and which is indeed our Anma Jyoti, and that means our deathless soul energy, or the divine grace energy, and which is realized and revealed by a human being as pure love, or as selfless kindness, or as vast grace, or as limitless mercy, and etc. And that's why a person bestowed with Arul, the limitless grace, knows no difference not only among human beings but also among all living beings. Yes. And therefore, we need to clearly understand that compassion is like a small fire which is limited only, whereas grace is like an unlimited big fire. Our compassion is human manifestation, whereas grace is divine manifestation in us. All compassionate activities of this world can be defined as spirituality, and such spiritual activities may not include the greater compassion for all plants in the plant kingdom and even certain animals in the animal kingdom as well. And that's why sometimes some of the so-called spiritual people of this world may also be found consuming certain dead animal products, and that's really so bad, and which is nothing but a kind of sickness of their spirit only. But they may be often found saying as, we don't kill animals, they have been already cooked by somebody else, and thus there is no sin in it, since there is no life in those cooked food, and so on. But to tell the truth here is that they are too weak to quit eating stinky flesh. And unfortunately, they are so mean to those innocent animals. Yes. So we can clearly conclude that the so-called spirituality is mainly the humanity only. And in Suddha Sanmarkam, we call this humanity as Jiva Vakam, which means spiritual discipline. And in fact, this spiritual discipline is practically not enough for us to attain our self-realization, immortality, and the siddhi of eternal, blissful, anaka divine life. On the other hand, all that of selfless, boundless, pure compassion, and that of limitless love and care, not only for all sentient beings in both the animal and plant kingdoms, but also for all creations in nature, comes under the Suddha Sanmarka Anma Volkam. And this Suddha Sanmarka Anma Volkam can be rightly labeled as the soul discipline. And this soul discipline is absolutely a very higher dimensional, and in fact, which is a very high above than that of the so-called spirituality. And hence, the so-called this world spirituality cannot be called as pure Anmigam. Pure Anmigam is higher order soul discipline, and therefore the Suddha Sanmarka Anma Volkam only can be correctly called as pure Anmigam. And in English, this Suddha Sanmarka Anma Volkam can be labeled as the soul discipline of the pure path of nature truth. And it's today, at this divine moment, we also need to know that our spirit has dual nature, just like that of an electron, which has both particle and wave qualities. And that is to say, spirit plus duality only is termed as spirituality. Yes, our spirit can go with our mind, and our spirit can also stay with our soul. A psycho spirit or the spirit inclined to our mind can create innumerable wonderful things in this world, such as world science and education, world philosophies and religions, world economics and politics, world peace and compassionate activities, and so on. Yet, so far, no psycho-spiritual folk knows how to escape his or her cruel death, which is truly against our inmost, deathless, divine nature. Yes, unfortunately, death defeats everyone eventually. It is so sad to say this. However, a true spiritual person can also gain the so-called the self-realization, the mukti, the moksha, means the nirvana or the liberation, and that is to say the endless samadhi, but not the siddhi of physical immortality and that of the eternal blissful anaha divine life. On the other hand, if our spirit stays focused firmly forever and ever with our inmost Anma, which is truly deathless entity by the virtue of its own divine nature, then our spirit becomes as a gracious spirit or a higher spirit or a pure spirit. And that pure spirit only can receive the Saha Kalvi, the divine education for our immortality, from our own inmost divine core. And very naturally, such a spirit only can attain self-realization and the Yama Siddhi, which can be named as the grace shield or the divine protection, and also the ultimate siddhi known as the limitless, blissful, anaha divine life. Here we truly need to know that the so-called mukti is our initial experience only, not the ultimate one. The ultimate one is the siddhi of eternal bliss, which means the limitless conscious experience of Almighty God. And both mukti and siddhi are undeniably possible when our spirit continues to stay in our own inmost divine abode. And thus, Suddha Sanmargis only can gain those greater bliss of both mukti and siddhi in this human birth itself, since for them only the greater blessings of Almighty God is very naturally granted. Arulperum Jyoti, the Almighty Grace Light. Then, who is a Suddha Sanmargi? Well, a person whomsoever might be, he or she is a Suddha Sanmargi only if he or she is a selfless, graceful, pure Anmihi. And that means one who is selfless, graceful, pure nature truth seeker is a Suddha Sanmargi only. Well, now here we all have more questions to know clearly about Anmiham or Anmihi. That is indeed great. First of all, we need to know that spirituality is not the right term for Anmiham. Spirituality is like a limited fire only. Yes, it deals with our spirit only, or our soul dissolved. In short, spirituality could be viewed as a compassionate human activity, and hence it could be either emotional or religious, or social, or rational, or all of these in different proportions mixed up. And thus, we can clearly understand that there is no right term for Anmigam in English. And therefore, we need to create a right word for it in English for our modern mankind. To be honest, the Anmigam is not the right Tamil word. The right Tamil term for Anmigam is Sanmargam only. And therefore, it is very clear that Suddha Sanmargam means pure Anmigam. And thus, the right term for the word Anmigam can be very well derived from the words Suddham and Sanmargam. Now, let's try to craft a new right term for Anmigam here today. Well, from today, I hope all enlightened souls are going to make others know the right English term for pure Anmigam. Yes, let's now figure out it here. Anmigam equals Anmavin Markam. The English equivalent for Anma is soul, and that of Margam is path or deed. In Tamil, Anma, the soul is known as Sattu. So we need to know that Saddu plus Margam is Sanmargam. Since Sad is soul or the nature truth, Sanmargam is the path to discover the nature truth. We know the branch of studies that tries to discover the nature truth is science. Therefore, Sanmargam is nothing but science. If Sanmargam is science, then Suddha Sanmargam is pure science. Yes, and it helps us stay systematically focused to discover the ultimate nature truth, the Sadhu, to attain our immortality. And thus, the appropriate term for pure Anmigam in English can be named as Suddha Sanmargam, or the pure science, or the pure naturalism, or the Soultronics. Well, Soultronics is not an English word, but here I use it aptly as it suits very well, as the word electronics is used for the study of an electron. Yes, Soultronics is the pure science that helps us discover our nature truth. Yes, well, now let's see what is longevity and how to achieve it very briefly here. By His limitless grace blessings for all of us, there are innumerous emotional, social, spiritual, scientific news and views out there in the online media about this concept called longevity or life expectancy or the long life. So I'm not going to rewind the same wheel again here, but will show you few online slides here, which of course reveal different perspectives before I highlight 5 keynotes for our greater and limitless longevity. Well, now let me read the following 2 slides loud here on longevity. Shania says, I certainly don't think you need to be famous to want to leave a legacy. But when you are famous, it's even more likely that your child will get the wrong perspective on your life if you die prematurely. Yes, that's true. And Selena says, I don't think that I will always necessarily be, I guess, famous. I think hopefully I will just have longevity at what I love. So I kind of think it's about taking the right steps and the right roles in doing the best you can and praying. That's indeed great. Well, no matter what, longevity is purely divine only, and hence we all need to rejoice in it. Now, let me read two more slides here below on longevity. If you ask what is single most important key to longevity, I would have to say it is avoiding worry, stress, and tension. And if you didn't ask me, I do still have to say it. That's what George Burns says. And Bob says, I'm most proud of the longevity of my marriage, my kids, and my grandchildren. And if you don't have that, you really don't have very much. That's awesome. Yes. Well, now let's come to our Vallar Peruman. And he is the only one in the extensive history of mankind who says very clearly that our physical immortality is true for all. And to achieve our physical immortality and also to attain our endless, blissful, and divine life, Vallalar has started his grace path in 1865, and that is called as Suddha Sanmargam, the pure path of nature truth. And this path can also be called as the pure science of soul. And Vallalar has shown 4 systematic scientific steps to achieve our immortality in his grace path, called the path of nature truth. They are 1. Physical discipline. This is to take care of our physical health and rejoice in our sound body. 2. Psychic discipline. This is to cleanse our mind and develop positive thoughts to overcome all of our mental delusions such as anger, anxiety, fears, and etc. 3. Spiritual discipline. This is to make us aware of our own inward light in us. And that light is like the compassion or kindness for all humans, regardless of any known or unknown differences, such as man or woman, region or religion, rich or poor, white or black, and etc. The 4th one, soul discipline. This is to help us rejoice in the eternal world of limitless bliss by attaining our siddhis of grace, shield, and immortality. And Vallalar also asks us to take greater care in the following 4 activities to increase our longevity and achieve our immortality. 1. Food. Vallalar asks us to become a kind vegetarian and then vegan and eventually get rid of the tricky food web. 2. Sex. Regarding this, Peruman says, be very cautious while having sex and have sex mainly for a childbirth only, and always keep your mind at Sirchabai, the forehead center between our eyebrows, and avoid ejaculation with the help of your inner breath if child is not desired. The 3rd one is sleep. Vallalar recommends to have less sleep only. Vallalar says that sleep is our temporary death and death is our permanent sleep. He also says that death is our carelessness only. So we gotta be very watchful and aware of everything in and around us. The 4th one is fear. Peruman says, never ever fear for anything. It is so bad as it poisons our body, and hence always be fearless, boundless, and try to rejoice in the nature bliss limitlessly available for all. And always think deeply that You are an immortal by the true virtue of your own inmost self, and therefore you would never ever die, but live joyfully forever, and always exalt Him only. Yes, and dear truth seekers, Vallalaar has not much spoken about breaking our endless food chain, but he has practically shown that we can quit the tricky food web where we all easily get tangled and eventually die. May His limitless grace energy bless us with bliss and immortality. Dear truth seekers, sometimes I also tend to infer that we could never ever escape our physical death as long as we depend on dead animals or plants' foodstuffs for our energy requirements. Yes, I may be correct. So we need to figure out the right type of nature mechanism by which light energy or a different form of energy can be directly used for our everyday functions. Since energy is the only one nature entity that we know, which can easily be convertible and that can also be conserved for our later use, isn't it? Yes. And now, finally, I'm here revealing a sacred secret by His limitless blessings for all of us that the Almighty God of all powerful limitless grace energy field has mercifully bestowed us with a spherical shaped super divine dynamo at our Sirchabai, the midpoint between our eyebrows, and this microcosmic electromagnetic divine generator can be gracefully regulated with the help of our immense passion energy to control our inner weather and also our aging as well. Vallalaar has very clearly shown this nature truth at the Sirchabai of Vadalur Jnanasabai. Yes, yet so far no one has explained about this scientific truth shown at the Vadalur Sirchabai, and therefore we all need to wake up quickly to know about this sacred divine secret in us and make use of this nature gift appropriately to stop aging and overcome all of our physical, mental, and spiritual sufferings. And finally, by His limitless grace, now let me air my concluding words here for today. Arulperam Jyoti. Body science, mind science, spiritual science, and the soul or the divine science, or the science of nature truth. All are crystal clearly shown in Suddha Sanmarkam, the pure path of nature truth. And this grace path can also be called as the pure naturalism or the pure science of human and divine. And therefore, I thoughtfully request all of us stay focused with high passion and great hope on this grace path, Suddha Sanmargam, the path of nature truth, to attain our physical immortality and rejoice in our everlasting, blissful, Anaka divine life, as promised by our Vallalaar Perumaan on his divine mission to be accomplished for all living beings. Arulperam Jyoti. And now let me read the first song of the Jnanasariyai and its English translation as well. And for its complete translation, please visit my Facebook link at Durai Sathanan or at valalarspace.com/Durai or contact me at anmaneyam@gmail.com. நினைந்து நினைந்து உணர்ந்து உணர்ந்து நகர்ந்து நகர்ந்து நினைந்து நினைந்து உணர்ந்து உணர்ந்து நெகிழ்ந்து நெகிழ்ந்து அன்பே நிறைந்து நிறைந்து ஊற்றலும் கண்ணீர் அதனால் உடம்பு நனைந்து நனைந்து அருளமுதே நன்னிதியே ஞான நடத்தரசே என் உரிமை நாயகனே என்று வணைந்து வணைந்து ஏத்துதும் நான் வம்மீன் உலகியலீர் மரணமில்லா பெருவாழ்வில் வாழ்ந்திடலாம் கண்டீர் புனைந்துரையேன் பொய் புகழேன் சத்தியம் சொல்கின்றேன், பொற் சபையில் சிற்சபையில் புகும் தருணம் இதுவே. Having thoughts and feel over feel, and with warmth of love, and being filled in, and with soaring spring of tears, body turning into weight and weight. Oh, the divine nectar, oh, the worthwhile well, oh, the king of dance of a human, oh, my rightful hero, like these. If we exalt high with prize after prize, oh, the rule only, then can live in an eternal, greater life. Know it well. Neither I exaggerate nor lie, but reveal the truth only into that golden abode and sanctum sanctorum. This is the time to head in. Beloved truth seekers far and wide, we thank you very much for giving us this great opportunity to speak about spirituality and longevity today. And big thanks indeed for watching as well. Let all living beings live blissfully forever and ever. அருள் பெரும் ஜோதி, அருள் பெரும் ஜோதி, தனி பெரும் கருணை, அருள் பெரும் ஜோதி. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம்.